Good morning and welcome to my left ear. I've got Petey joining us for as long as he wishes to stay. I actually just woke him up to put him on the desk, so he's a little like, what's going on? Okay, Pete, you do whatever you want to do. We'd love you to join us. This is my left ear. It is December 7th, and if you've never been here before, this is a left-leaning political YouTube channel. And I do psychic commentary, and I often use the runes, which I have today. I have some runes for you today. So I'm going to start out with glasses, but I'll take them off. Gives me a little confidence to start out with glasses for some reason. Now, when I am not here doing this, I do psychic coaching one-on-one, either in person or via Zoom, even the telephone. And I do therapeutic hypnosis, and sometimes I use the two together. If someone comes for therapeutic hypnosis to solve a specific issue, and my left ear kicks in because that's where I get my guidance, I share it. So it's a little bit of a twofer in some respects. And also, when I'm not here, I'm an author, and I'm just about done with a paperback, which I'm going to work on after I finish today, and the Comics Daughter. Now, many of you have purchased the Comics Daughter, but because we're right before Christmas and Hanukkah, if you want to give a gift, if you know somebody who likes to read, so all that information is below the website. You just click, you hit purchase, ta-da, and I mail you the book. And I sign it, by the way. All right, what I'm doing today is I'm pulling together a bunch of news information. I'm disseminating it as I think it's relevant, and because that's what I get to do. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Now, what's Pete doing? What's he doing? What are you doing, Pete? I think he's taking a little bath, but I'm glad he's here. He's a good boy. All right, so I want to start with a couple of corrections. The people who watch this YouTube channel are simply wonderful. And I do make mistakes. And sometimes when I'm researching, I'm doing it too quickly, and I will get something wrong. So I wanted to go in here and correct that Rosalind Carter did graduate from Georgia Southwestern State University. And I had thought, when I saw a documentary, that they said she had not. So I apologize deeply. I mean, she's, rest in peace, Rosalind Carter. And then there is a statue at the university that stands right next to the Rosalind Carter Health and Human Sciences Complex. So that's a wonderful tribute to her. The other thing I want to correct, and it's a few weeks old, but still, if I do it in person, it's better. I will put this into a community section, but this is better. That I thought that Trump was threatening to visit Venezuela, but it was Argentina. And Granny Eleanor in DC corrected me on that, and I just want to come out and make sure I was clear, because I love Granny Eleanor. And then the last thing that was really just shocked me is what happened at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. It just threw me for a loop because this is where I went to college. I first went to college at Southern Illinois University in Southern Illinois, about 5 hours from Chicago. And then I transferred to UNLV. It's actually, talk about it in this book. And I loved it there. I spent 4 years in Las Vegas. I graduated as a theater major in directing and theater. And I had 4 great years there. At that time, it was smaller. And so it was more intimate experience. The theater department wasn't enormous. And my memories are just beautiful, fun. I learned a lot. I loved the desert. I loved, after coming from Illinois, which was humid, I just love the dryness of the desert, and my frizzy hair looked good for 4 years in Las Vegas. I left immediately after I graduated. I worked at the student library, and then I packed up my car and drove to California. I spent time on the Las Vegas Strip, not really being naughty, but sometimes if I finished a term paper at 2 in the morning, one of my fellow students and I, we'd go to Caesar's Palace and have breakfast at the deli in the middle of the night. That was something unique about living in Las Vegas. I also got to see a lot of great performers, but it was a more intimate Vegas then. I mean, I saw Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons in a lounge, you know, before he became, you know, a Broadway musical. So I called a good friend that still lives there, and we just chatted. I knew she was safe, but spent a lot of time in that student union that was right adjacent to the shooting. And something about this shooting, it's my understanding, it was like a 64-year-old white man who was very angry about losing a job. And it was not a Muslim or a Middle Eastern person, as one of the major networks first reported, and they really should be careful about that. All right, so I'm starting off with runes because I thought that would be most compelling for you guys, and it's a very compelling issue. So I asked the runes, will Biden get funding for Ukraine? I asked a couple of runes questions today about Ukraine, and I know you probably want to see Petey, but he's settled down, and he's napping, and he has his butt facing us. Okay. He gets a lot of compliments, by the way. People really love it when they get to see him. All right, so here's, will Biden get funding for Ukraine? It's good news, all right? This is how it breaks down. The first rune I got was breakthrough. Breakthrough is a spiritual warrior. It signals a major shift or breakthrough. For some, the transition is so radical that they no longer able to live in the ordinary way. And because the timing is right, the outcome is assured, although not from the present vantage point. And I'll just mention that comment right here, that I had thought if the funding comes through, it's going to come maybe through a left-hand door, or maybe not even from Congress. They just might find another way. But I just wanted to say that when it says not from the present vantage point. Radical trust is called for here. Let's just have faith. I can't imagine how hard the White House is working on getting this funding. They know how crucial it is. So this breakthrough is akin to the warmth of the sun as it breaks through the final barriers. GOP are the barriers. Breakthrough speaks of prosperity. Okay, so there's the financing. The sudden release of energies may well propel us forward. The advice is keep our balance, as a major period of achievement is often introduced with this rune. All right, that was the first rune that I got. Will Biden get his funding? Then I got the rune of protection in the reversed position, which worried me a little bit. But it just says, look carefully at the associations you form at this time. And I don't know why this has little to do with Ukraine, but Bibi Netanyahu came to mind. Look carefully at that association. If you find yourself involved with people who are using you, be conscious of that and take responsibility for your position. Do not be too invested, do not be too invested about this enterprise. It's hard not to be too invested. But then I went on and I pulled the third rune, which is great. Joy. Joy. So joy is called Wunjo, W-U-N-J-O, and it is the rune of joy and light. It is a fruit-bearing branch. It speaks of happiness, of things coming together. The culmination of a phase of learning and growth. You're not kidding. When Wunjo appears in your casting, you can be assured that a positive result is in the offing. So this is emblematic of new clarity and understanding for the current situation. It's awfully hopeful, my friends. So that was about Biden. And you know, that was my feeling from my left ear before I pulled these runes. It was like somehow, some way. And it was very similar to when I said to you that the United States was not going to default. I just knew it wasn't going to shut down. The last 2 times, by the way. So this is a little bit similar. So let's just focus on that and expect that. Do you know? Biden, the one who has always looked as, you know, not the front runner, the guy who's trying to catch up, you know, not the winner. And then he always surprises everybody. So everybody underestimates him. And I don't think we should. It's just me. It's just what I've noticed. All right, now I'm going to bring up, and my screen blew up, like you know this does this from time to time, the fake electors. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit if you want to just watch the cat sleep. There he is. Fake electors in Wisconsin. 10 fake electors settled a lawsuit against them by 2 real, authentic electors. Settled it. 10. A lot of money. They paid a lot of money. Nevada, 6 fake electors were just indicted by the grand jury. And then Georgia, 3 fake electors. You know, there are people, and maybe some are you, sometimes it's me, of running out of patience. But if you look at all that's being accomplished, if you look back a year, we keep moving forward. I think Jack Smith is so brilliant that he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got it sort of, you know, I bet there's a giant like war map or something somewhere where he's just strategically. So my left ear, you know, tells me that 2024, Jack Smith is going to show up and take care of some things that a lot of people have been waiting for, which is like the coup plotters in the Senate, the coup plotters in the House. They keep finding people and arresting them, not just the people that were at the insurrection. So it's ongoing. We have to exercise a little bit of patience. It's very difficult, very difficult. I admit it. Now I'm going to move on to this disgusting man. I think he's disgusting. I call him pastor, speaker, pervert, and sometimes I change it around. Pastor, speaker, pervert Johnson. He actually this week, a few days ago, exposed his guilt and corruption. I think he was speaking and he did not think it was mic'd or being technically, you know, he was off mic. I think that's what he thought. Okay. Exposed his guilt and corruption. He said, he was talking about that they had not given out the footage that they have of the fighting and violence at the insurrection. And he was explaining why he hasn't delivered it yet, okay? So he said it takes time to blur all the faces and protect them from FBI retaliation. That's like obstruction. The speaker was obstructing. Then his aides and he tried to walk it back. Well, I just meant. It does incriminate him. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter. But, you know, here's another thing about Jack Smith I want to say. He's like everywhere. You know, he knows everything. So he knows everything this insurrectionist, pastor, speaker, pervert Johnson is doing. no worries. I have utter faith in Jack Smith. It could be withholding evidence. It could be obstruction. But Pastor Speaker Pervert Johnson has proven, he's shown us, he will not uphold the Constitution. Liz Cheney, just started her interviews on her book, which is getting great reviews. And I've seen her a few times. She used to know him well. I mean, they're both conservatives. Some of these things she didn't know about him, but she said that he has abdicated his beliefs and his commitment to the Constitution. Abdicated. All right. Now, these are just facts that when I saw them, I went, oh, I just want to read this and share this with my people. And it's facts and it's evidence, and it's all about the GOP. All right. The GOP did the following: gerrymandered the red states, suppressed the vote, closed polling places, removed drop boxes, vilified mail-in voting, which is what we do in California, and it's fabulous, and messed with the Postal Service. I'm just saying, when you see it all in a list, it's pretty stunning. All right, so I'm going to move on to Bill Palmer. You've heard me talk about Bill Palmer. He's like such an intelligent writer, and he writes every day. He's rarely wrong, by the way. I mean, if you go back, he'll tell you he predicted this, he warned us of that, and he's really astute. And he's all journalism. It's not like he's a psychic, but he is very psychic, by the way. I mean, he really calls a lot of good things. So I just wanted to share this with you because it's growing now, and it's rightfully growing. All right, so this is what he wrote. We need to be talking about Trump's worsening senility. We need to be talking about it constantly. We need to be pushing the media to cover the topic more, not less. Trump and his handlers are already so on the defensive about this. They recently posted a doctor's note claiming that Trump is in fantastic cognitive health. Trump's people understand that his cognitive collapse is a problem, and they're trying to push back against it. That alone is all the more reason why we should be amplifying it. Amplify, amplify, amplify. That's me. We need to amplify Trump's senile moments every time they happen, not make excuses to explain it away. It will grow. I mean, it's only going in one direction, and with his age and the stress, we're going to see more of it. But I'll tell you that a couple of companies like, the Lincoln Project, which is famous, really put out a brilliant video highlighting all his senility, all the moments where he couldn't pronounce things, he forgot things, he walked off in the wrong direction. It goes on and on and on. It's a great video. If I can find it, I'll see if I can put it on my community page. And then someone else also put out, so he's being caught, because he's so visible, not knowing what's going on. He's in the wrong state, he's in the wrong city, he's in the wrong war, he beat Obama. It's crazy. All right, but we'll keep an eye on this because it's real. And a note about domestic extremism. Domestic here. It's the number one danger to our country's safety. It wasn't that way before Trump showed up, but it is now. He led the way. And that reminds me of something I want to say that I did not write down here. My left ear has the strongest feeling that we're coming to like a big moment, like that's gonna like whiplash back to some balance, to I don't know if I want to call it normalcy, but where it's not as extreme. It can only get so extreme, and then it like kind of bounces back. And so I think we're going to see a bit of a backlash in 2024 in a good way, in a way that you and I would like. So I want to share that. Then the other thing that's really cool is Jack Smith discovered, but he may have known this for a very long time, I don't know when, and is using the fact that there is proven history that Trump in his past has set up his losses in advance in order to fight and win. He has a pattern, a proven pattern of manipulating losses in advance. And Jack Smith is bringing that to DC. He's bringing that proof. It's just great. I love hearing this stuff. And I see that I wrote a note to myself, my left ear, once 24 hits, the media will pivot even more. Now that the media has been threatened, I don't know if you heard Trump talk about getting rid of the networks and getting rid of MSNBC and CNN, and all based on he just doesn't like the things they say. Well, now they're getting threatened, and they're waking up a little bit. So we're going to see slightly different reporting in 2024 that's going to actually be very good for the country. So expect more warnings and expect more pro-Biden information from the media, okay? Because now they're being threatened. And I put out a tweet, that wonderful photograph of Taylor Swift that I put in my community section, which is, I think various forms of that are going to be on Time Magazine, not just that one picture. I saw a couple of versions of them. All of them are great. But it hit me, like at 4 this morning, I was up, and it hit me, wait a minute. If Trump, if, not going to happen, but if Trump became the president again, he would find a way to shut down music stars that didn't support him. So Taylor Swift would be one of the biggest ones. And I thought, what would people do if their favorite artist was unavailable to them? And that would be many favorite artists. I'm using her because, I did see the movie. It was pretty fabulous. I think she's genius and smart and all kinds of things. But she's really become political in how she's guiding her Swifties that are 18 and older, and to be admired. And if all of a sudden everybody was told, there's no more Taylor Swift, there's no more whoever your favorite, Pink, imagine that, people think books, but if they can't get their music, if they can't get their favorite artist, so just think about that. I mean, that's part of it too. He'd go after her. Are you kidding me? She got everybody that follows her to register to vote against him. So this is an observation of my left ear, and I entitled it GOP Sex Addicts and Pervies. It's because every day there are new reports of pastors, church leaders, Boy Scout, Girl Scout, molesting young children. And so the churches have become like a criminal haven for molesters. And the GOP has become a haven for hardcore criminals, launderers, and maybe pedophiles, I don't know. But it's really interesting. You're not seeing this. I'm not saying that a Democrat couldn't be guilty, but what we're seeing are hordes of Republicans molesting. and cheating. So it's quite a party, isn't it? Now, here's like some fun news. Book sales. Cassidy Hutchinson's book sold out on the day it was published. Liz Cheney's book has sold out. Marjorie Taylor's book is now ranked 10,678th on Amazon. That is sweet, my friends. All right, we're coming up on another runes thing, but I just want to say that this morning I saw the new British Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, who was previously Prime Minister. He was on Morning Joe. He's in the States. He's going to meet with President Biden. So he shared that all the countries supporting Ukraine together have the power 30-1 over Russia. 30-1 over Russia. And this, I got really angry because I've been saying for the last year, why don't they all just consolidate, go in and take care of this and just free Ukraine? Just do it. Just go in, people. So I wrote, let's get it done. All right. But I did ask the runes, will Ukraine beat Russia in 2024? I got good runes. I got the rune of fertility, which is about new beginnings. It's akin to the moon, the intuitive part of our nature with its urge towards harmonizing and adjusting. It embodies the need for sharing. And then drawing this rune marks a time of joyful deliverance. I couldn't say it any better. Joyful deliverance for Ukraine. It is a rune of great power. And it tells us, the fertility tells us, we have the strength to achieve completion or resolution, which opens new beginnings. So that's pretty fabulous. Then I got the rune of protection in the upright position. It's aligned with the mighty elk, and it's when to know when to retreat and consolidate. Control of emotions we're reminded of that here. During times of transition and change, nobody should collapse into some big emotion or joy or anything. Just be mindful of this serious passage of winning. But out of this protection comes new opportunities and challenges. Okay, of course there are going to be challenges. The whole country is going to need to rebuild. It's an awesome thing to think of, right? It is also, I'm just going to leave you with this one last thing. It is considered to be the protection rune and a rune of healing. All right. And then the last rune here is wholeness. I mean, this was fabulous about, 2024. This is really good. Wholeness. And wholeness is that which our nature requires. It's that which all of us are looking for. It is the impulse towards self-realization. Ukraine is looking towards self-realization, finally. It speaks of basking in the glory of the sun's rays. And it does say through wholeness, a new, stronger, more solid, and higher foundation is created. So tremendous life force is available through wholeness. This is a fantastic answer to this question. That in 24, you know what I think something odd has happened with all the attention that's gone to Israel. And Israel isn't like that imminent thing for us. We're helping out. Hamas was horribly wrong and cruel and vicious and criminal. That's all I'm going to say because, I'm kind of off it in terms of speaking about it. But Ukraine is immediate threat to Europe, to us, and it needs to be beyond important, okay? I think, you all know that. You know what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to move on now. Now, on December 5th or 6th, I'm not sure, I think it might have been 5th, the very stupid, dumb, ignorant Tommy Tuberville is finally starting to give up the fight. I don't know who got to him. I don't know what got to him, but he's giving in to over 300 appointments, except 11 4-star generals. He's holding out. So the generals are in limbo, but this is a huge beginning. And him holding out on the generals absolutely confirms my feeling that he's doing this directly for Donald Trump. But I think they're going to get to him about these generals. The generals are very important. So we'll keep an eye on this, but there's movement here. There's movement. And the people that worked on him to get him this place, they're not going to let up now, not for these generals that are waiting. So he's going to get in trouble, you know. He's going to be part of that. Let's round up all the coup plotters, the usual suspects. Tuberville's going to be part of it. There's a lot of really cocky people that are part of this that don't think they're going to be touched, and they're going to be touched big time next year. All right, now we're down to the quotes and good evidence. The quote is just, there's two favorite quotes in my life, and both of them are Albert Einstein. And this is really genius. It's so simple. He said, nothing changes until something moves. And I had an acting teacher who said, when you don't know what to do something. And that begins the physics of change. It starts motion, okay? And I don't know physics, but think about that. You just do one thing, one new thing, and it starts it. Okay, so now we're going to get to good evidence, which is sort of whimsical today, but I'm a writer, I'm a creator, and so I got this sort of screenplay in my head of good evidence. And so here's Carrie's very short screenplay. As Trump prepares for his second coup in 24, and it's starting now, and alternately, Ohio voted for recreational cannabis, and it voted to codify a woman's right to choose, all at the same time that pastor, speaker, pervert got nominated to House Speaker. Ultra-conservative ex-speaker Liz Cheney debuts her scathing bestseller, damning the Republican Party. And now her book is a bestseller. And now she's on the interview tours. And she is a great communicator and speaker. So in 2024, Liz Cheney's book tour and her interviews are going to help crush the GOP and Trump as a candidate. And here's the irony. A woman who voted no, that would be Liz Cheney, on women's health care, voting rights, no on a bill about violence towards women, and more. But the screenplay has her coming whooping in at the end as an unlikely hero, and she saves democracy and helps Biden win a second term. Do you like my screenplay? Okay. Petey's out. Pete? Yeah? Can you say hi? Can you just say anything to the people? No? No, I'm too beautiful to speak. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing Pete take naps. I'll talk to you soon. My new Patreon, I think, is really worth an invest. I really, really do. There's something that we all should kind of learn to do, and that's called negative visualization, but it's very empowering, very helpful. And then that's the first part of the Patreon, and the second part of the Patreon is like totally different. It's a wild personal story, how many years ago I sued the pornographer Larry Flint. No, I didn't sue him about photographs. It was about something that I wrote. And it's a pretty good story. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Let's see what this next 8 days brings us. And make peace, make good memories. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.